First opportunity on offense. Here is Ernie Mills, a yard deep in the end zone, and he is out to the 15 and is going to be stacked up at about the 18-yard line. Lenny McGill was there for the Green Bay Packers, as we'll check out the offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Neil O'Donnell, the quarterback. And Randy, here's that offensive line.
Key change on the left side. Justin Strelzik is not going to be in there on the first start. It's going to be Newberry at left tackle. John Jackson. The reason Strelzik's not in there, they want him ready to go in for Jackson if Jackson can't handle Sean Jones.
Backs and receivers.
What can you say? It's a great group, and it gets even better when they go into the nickel-type situation with 4 wides and Cordell Stewart.
But the Steelers operating without Eric Pegram and without Bam Morris. Fred McAfee, that is only his 23rd carry on the season. And the defense, you're looking at Gilbert Brown. The Packers led by Reggie White.
Yeah, Reggie, he is the heart and soul, and Gilbert Brown is the wide body in that group. Very strong, very emotionally pumped right now.
That's the front 7, and here's the secondary.
If I'm going against this secondary, I stay away from these big play safeties. I try to get those corners manned up. And in the nickel, can't even call it a nickel. It's 7 defensive backs for all these wide receivers.
Cordell Stewart in. He comes across in motion. They throw it to him, and he has it, pulls it in at the 25-yard line. And then he's going to be wrapped up immediately and bumped out of bounds. Doug Evans, number 33, was there for the pass.
Well, now, did you notice how they tackled Cordell Stewart there? There was none of this handsy, grabsy kind of thing. Gee, it's only a quarterback playing wide receiver. People have watched the tape. They've seen what happens. Simmons misses that, but there's not much miss right there in Doug Evans. He gets all of them. That's how you got to tackle this great big physical guy.
3rd down and 4.
You know, 6'2", about 215 pounds, 4'4" in the 40. It's a scary package to be playing quarterback.
From the shotgun. And there will be the first down. Andre Hastings has the reception. Leroy Butler makes the stop for Green Bay. So the Steelers converting on their first 3rd down opportunity.
You're going to see things a little different out of this offense because, as Jim Gray said in the pregame, very banged up at the running back position. So you got to start using kind of like the dreaded term West Coast offense does. Well, kind of like that offense, you got to use these receivers in the short passing game as the run.
First down for the Steelers. Ball game just underway. Opening drive. Temperature about 20. Wind chill factor 0. Incomplete. Ernie Mills, the intended receiver. Greg Newsome has the coverage. What's going on in Kansas City? Let's go to New York for an update. All right, thank you, Greg. Here, of course, we are scoreless. The Steelers and the Packers. O'Donnell sets, fires, and he is right on target to Ernie Mills. And for Mills, that is his 34th reception on the year. Newsome makes the tackle for Green Bay. Interesting, though, we understand in Kansas City, although everybody here is wondering, and the Pittsburgh fans, of course, are wondering what is going on in the Kansas City game, we understand that in Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, they are not going to announce the score, the running score, on this ball game. They're keeping it a big secret.
Carl Peterson and Marty Schottenheimer don't want to focus on home field advantage and how's Pittsburgh doing. They want it on that football game against Seattle.
Well, how is Pittsburgh doing? They have a drive underway. They started back at the 19. Has a man open down the sideline, and it is incomplete. Could not quite get to it, and that is Ernie Mills.
What's happening right now is Green Bay is very aware of where Yancey Thigpen is. He comes into this game as the leading receiver for the Steelers. They're rotating things to your right as from this shot right here, and that's leaving Mills on the other side free in that situation I talked about. Get him manned up, he can get open. He gets open, you got to get him the ball, and he's got to catch it.
2nd down and 10. Fred McAfee and Tim Lester are the running backs. And here is McAfee. And he is shoved back. Gets only to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. George Teague, Wayne Simmons for Green Bay. Oh, they were waiting for it.
Well, they were. This offensive line right now is playing like a group that's protecting the passer very well, but isn't doing much in the running game. Sean Jones just dominant right there when he's matched up man-on-man against a tight end and the rookie Bruner. He just blew him into the backfield and shut that play completely off.
3rd down and 10. 5 wide receivers in the Sentinel running backs. And O'Donnell goes to a shotgun without a back to protect him. Now he has a tight end moving in to protect him. Going deep quickly. Single coverage downfield. He had pressure. Green Bay said if he does that, we're coming with everybody. Doug Evans had the coverage for Green Bay.
And that's the point the defense wants to make. If Bill Cowher is going to use this many receivers, this is exactly what you want to do against Neil O'Donnell in this offense. You want to put a smack on the quarterback. You want to man him up downfield, and you want to make him throw within about 2.5 seconds. And he just didn't have anywhere to go.
So Ron Stark will be kicking. Antonio Freeman is the return man for Green Bay. Pretty good kick. Taken at the 6, bobbled. And then it's recovered at about the 8-yard line. So a bit of a gamble for Antonio Freeman. But Green Bay has the ball when we come back. As we step aside, we have no score. The Steelers.
Green Bay Packers, not really a volatile personality, but a very strong personality, as is his quarterback, Brett Favre. They've developed a unique relationship, Charlie. They're finally sort of not clashing and getting along a lot better.
Anytime there's a mistake, they both kind of look at each other. They kind of calm down. It's okay. And they're both saying that at the same time.
It used to be laser beams from the sideline into Brett Favre's head from Mike Holmgren.
You're right. So they start at the 9-yard line. First opportunity on offense. And it'll be Edgar Bennett. Bennett, who has rushed for 1,010 yards behind this offensive line that he gave a big Christmas present last night. He's got watches.
It is a very solid offensive line. Good pass blockers and very good run blockers.
And the backs and receivers.
You know, Robert Brooks, you can't say enough of what he's done replacing Sterling Sharp here and making a lot of people forget about Sterling Sharp in this offense.
Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9, far to throw. And it's incomplete. So it's going to be 3rd down and 9. Robert Brooks, the intended receiver, the defense of the Steelers.
Yeah, we saw a quick pass right away. The reason this front 7 pressures so well from the outsides and squeezes the quarterback, they block a lot of passes too. You got to throw it quick against this D.
What about the only team that runs a 3-4 also?
One of the few left.
Secondary.
Carnell Lake, Pro Bowler as a safety, wants to credit that to the respect he gets around the league as a football player. And in the nickel, Oldham and Fuller.
3rd down. 3rd and 8, far side, 1st down. Huge play for Green Bay. They needed this conversion. It was 3rd down and 8. This is their opening drive. Mark Ingram pulls it in. Otherwise, they're kicking.
Well, he catches a bullet here from Favre. This is a no baloney zone defense. Zip this between 2 people. You got no shot right there because Brett Favre, watch the way this guy releases the ball. This is not an arm release. This is a body throw. Every piece of his body. See it go over that front foot?
Yes.
I mean, there is no hesitation. He's giving it pure fastball.
1st down, 24-yard line. Blitz is coming, no flags. Favre throws downfield, has a man on target. 50-yard line. Robert Brooks.
And this crowd at Lambeau Field stands as one on that play. Mike Holmgren made a plea to these people. We want it as loud as it's ever been, and a big play, a great blitz read here by Favre. Just enough of a block from Edgar Bennett. And look at the chemistry and the combination between these two with Brooks and Favre. You can't, like I said, say enough about the maturity and the growth of this young wide receiver from South Carolina, Robert Brooks.
26 yards on the play. Brooks at his reception number 92 on the year. 1st down, 50-yard line. And we'll have a false start. Ken Rutgers jumps. That'll cost a quick 5.
False start, number 75, offense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Jerry McBride, a referee this afternoon on this Christmas Eve.
Now, a lot of those false starts against these guys happen because of those great outside rushers in Lloyd and Green. But, you know, look at Robert Brooks and what he's done with Sterling Sharp compared to what Sharp did. A lot is talked about this year. You know, Sterling Sharp wants to make a comeback. Well, if Sterling Sharp wants to make a comeback, he's got to do two things. One, he's got to pass a physical. And two, he's got to convince Mike Holmgren that he should be back here in Green Bay. If he comes back, it ain't going to be as a Packer.
Here's the draw, Edgar Bennett, and he is immediately wrapped up. Jerry Osafsky, the middle linebacker, or the inside right linebacker, gets credit with his tackle.
Just look at the way the concert, the almost dance of these 3-4 defenders for Pittsburgh. They line up. That's a double blitz inside from the inside linebacker. Advantage
to the 3-4.
I don't think it was a huge advantage except for the personnel. If you have these outside linebackers like this, you run the 3-4.
2nd and 15. 5 throws. Drop. Keith Jackson. Oh, he hit him between the 8s.
And the reason this is incomplete, Charlie, is exactly that. It hits him between the 8s. Receivers should never let the ball get into their bodies. They call it a catch for a reason. You're supposed to catch it with your hands, not get it as it bounces off your chest.
Oh. Have a little bruise tomorrow.
You know, otherwise, they'd have a category that says rebounds or caroms.
3rd down, 15. Going deep, has a man, and he misses him. Robert Brooks had 2 steps on the defender, 5 under through him.
You know, they're giving one thing to Green Bay. They haven't given a lot to a lot of people. That is a steady diet of 5 to 6 man rush into Brett Favre's face, and they're giving him some man coverage. Instead of running their usual blitz zone, there's an awful lot of man down there. If they can handle this blitz, and Brett Favre can get the ball to his receivers, he can put up some good numbers.
Hendrick will be punting. Andre Hastings is the return man for the Steelers. They're taking all the time in the world. Oh, good kick. Oh, good kick. Hello. And he sticks it. Lenny McGill covers it at the 8-yard line. Oh, what a great kick by Craig Hendrick. We have no score. We'll step aside. Back to Green Bay and the cold weather in a moment.
Reggie White, before the game started the first series, got double teamed, but the man that dominated on the defensive line was Sean Jones. He's got a good matchup against John Jackson.
Matt Labonte is now the defensive left end for the Packers. Here's Fred McAfee. Nothing there. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it.
Charlie, the guy that sets that up is Sean Jones at defensive end. Completely disrupts this play. Check this out, working against John Jackson. And Jonathan Hayes at tight end. It was more Hayes than anybody else. And I tell you what, if you've got a game plan and it includes blocking these defensive ends with tight ends, you better go to plan B. These guys will absolutely dominate you if you do that.
And George Kuntz was right in the middle of it. McAfee, the remaining back. 3-step drop pass is complete. It is Ernie Mills who pulls it in. And Craig Newsome, the rookie from Arizona State, pulls him down. Mark it at the 19-yard line.
Now look at the protection that Neil O'Donnell's getting. He gets more push out of the Packers. We talk about the blitzes and the pressure from Pittsburgh's defense. That comes quickly. Green Bay will push in a wave in your face, and that's why O'Donnell's right now getting rid of that thing quick. He's looking to Mills, but don't forget Yancey Thigpen. He's got that bad toe, but they need this game, and Yancey Thigpen needs to ignore that bad toe.
Close to the first down, so the change will come out for a measurement. We have 6.5 minutes. That is the time remaining, 6:33 in the first quarter, and we are scoreless. As you can see, a couple of inches shy of the first down. Bill Cowher, the Pittsburgh Steelers, their record is 11-4. They have won 8 in a row.
Yeah, this is one part of the personality of Bill Cowher's team that I think has changed with this new offense and the way things have developed running back wise. You know, there's no Barry Foster. There's no Bam Morris because Bam Morris is hurt. Ron Earhart's done, I think, probably the best job of any assistant in the NFL of adjusting his offense to the talent that he has. But they don't have that big, strong, physical, attitude-type guy anymore in the backfield.
But they do have Cordell Stewart. A little quarterback sneak. Right side, he picks up the first down. The man who has the nickname of Slash, quarterback, receiver, running back, maybe a punter today from what we understand. And we had a nice visit with him.
Well, 6'2", 215. He can get you some tough yards. He can make people think. And you mentioned the punting idea, Charlie. If you see Cordell Stewart punt today, you're going to see it on a 4th down situation out of a shotgun. You're not going to see it out of normal punts.
Play action fake. O'Donnell. Juggling. No, can't put it in. Ernie Mills. Newsome with the coverage. They're picking on the rookie at left corner, number 21, Craig Newsome from Arizona State. He does have 1 interception on the year, and check it out from ground level.
Well, that's one thing Neil O'Donnell is getting right now is some pretty good protection. And the reason he's getting that is they're dinging on Sean Jones on that right defensive side with Reggie out of the game. They're doubling that way, trying to eliminate that push from Neil O'Donnell's backside.
Neil O'Donnell told us last night, this is a weird game. We don't have all of our weapons, and we're going to be watching what's going on in Kansas City. Here's a sweep left side, McAfee. He's got the corner, and then is finally chased out of bounds. But he's going to pick up the first down. Doug Evans finally takes him out of bounds for Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't buy that weird game thing, though, Charlie. This is a football team that blew home field advantage last year, losing to San Diego in 3 Rivers. They want that home field advantage. That type of a running play to go with the passing type attack they have is important. You know, people say, who's Fred McAfee?
Who is Fred McAfee?
Well, Fred McAfee got a lot of good quality yards for Jim Mora down in New Orleans back in the years that Dalton Hilliard and them were hurt. He was a real good, strong backup for the Saints.
He was their leading rusher one year. Over the middle in a crowd and held on. Outstanding reception by Mark Bruner, the tight end. Fred Strickland was all over him. Bruner's first reception, 24th of the year.
Well, a good, strong group of rookie tight ends this year in the NFL, and here's a good job of concentration because it bounces off his hands and a couple of Green Bay Packer hands before it finally settles into his chest.
2nd and 4. This drive started back at the 9. 4.5 minutes left, first quarter. We're scoreless. McAfee tries the left side, nothing there. In case you joined us late again, Eric Pinkham, who had rushed for 813 yards, and Bam Morris. They're 2 key running backs, both inactive for this ball game. Pinkham with a rib problem. Bam Morris has a hamstring. They want to get them well for the playoffs.
Well, McAfee is functionally the only healthy running back you have for the Pittsburgh Steelers. John L. Williams, they really don't want to use him. He's got a dinged-up knee. Avery's a little dinged up. Lester's got the shoulder, so it's one of those good news, bad news for McAfee.
Shotgun, 4 wide receivers. Good protection. Buys some more time. Throws underneath the coverage. The pass is complete. First down, Yancey Thigpen. Newsome and Butler on the stop. Thigpen was stunned when he was hit for a moment.
Well, we've been talking about where is Yancey Thigpen. He comes into this game as the leading receiver. And Neil O'Donnell doesn't find him until the pressure makes him leave the pocket. When he leaves the pocket, see Thigpen bottom of the screen, he adjusts to Neil O'Donnell. That's a quality sign of some good, strong coaching in an offense when your receivers adjust to where the quarterback is and slide.
And you watch number 21, Craig Newsome. He is down. Injury timeout. Back in a moment.
This is
tied the Steeler team record, 80 receptions in the season, held by John Stallworth. By the way, thus far in the first quarter, Pittsburgh has had the ball just over 8 minutes to Green Bay's 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And that's the time remaining, 3:37. First period, no score. Just a bit off target. Thigpen, the intended receiver. Lenny McGill, who has replaced Newsome, at the corner, and that's who they come picking on.
Well, it's a sure sign, Charlie. We're watching 1995 NFL football. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Green Bay Packers, the day before Christmas, and the ball is in the air on a constant basis. This is the year of the pass. This is the home of the old term home field advantage. When you used to want to play here at Lambeau Field on a frozen field and pound the ball, now they're flying.
2nd down and 10. Here's McAfee. Green Bay has taken the running game completely away from the Steelers.
Well, you know, one thing that happens there is Pittsburgh tried to pull their center, Dermontti Dawson. Great idea. You know, we used to do that in the San Francisco offense. How do you nullify that? You get penetration. You knock the center there, 63 Dawson, back into the backfield. That breaks up the blocking patterns. That breaks up the interference. And the only interference you got left is all wearing green Packer jerseys.
And as a note, Reggie White is a defensive left end for Green Bay. 4 wide receivers on the set. 3rd down and 13. O'Donnell spins away. He could be caught from behind. He's chugging. He's got the corner out. Is he going to get it? Not quite. He's going to be a yard shy of the 1st down. He had the angle and the race was on.
Well, the problem with the race, he was racing this guy right here, Reggie White. If you have any doubt of how tough this guy is, remember he had a bad right knee. He's got a bad left hamstring. If this is a full speed Reggie White, Neil O'Donnell's on the ground right here. Reggie White can't open up. He can't run full speed. What he can do is emotionally carry this team on the shoulders. John Yurkovich, defensive lineman, told me, as long as we can look on the sideline and see the big dog over there, we know it's a plus.
4th down 1. Cordell Stewart, the quarterback. Last time, quarterback sneak. This time, it's the option and the pitch. And it's going to be close. Depends on the spot that they get. Fred McAfee on the option down the line. Cordell Stewart, George Coons with the stop, and Green Bay has held. They take over on down.
Charlie, it's going to be the other way for Green Bay. You know, even in this league, with a great athlete like Stewart, you don't want to risk his body. You run an option, you tell him the idea is to pitch it. Well, the quarterback's not the only one that knows that. The defense knows that, too. They see an option. They say, the heck with the quarterback. Let's get the running back, and that's exactly what happened. Now, for you pro wrestling fans of the WW whatevers, that was Reggie's imitation of Randy Macho Man Savage wishing America a Merry, Merry Christmas. So say what you will about this big, warm guy. He has got a wonderful sense of humor besides everything else.
This will be the 10th play. Only the 10th play in the ball game for Green Bay. 7-step drop. Pump fake, comes back underneath the coverage. Here's Robert Brooks. And Brooks spins loose for a 1st down. Pittsburgh, by the way, has run 29 plays.
And there's 2 things that have really, or last 2 weeks, that have bothered the Pittsburgh Steelers. One has been a quarterback who can just move around enough to stay mobile and stay out of the way. Exactly what Favre does. Goes about the 4th or 5th receiver when he dumps this off to Brooks. The second thing has been poor tackling. It's surprising in a big, strong, aggressive defense like that, it can be a problem. But right there, you've got guys standing around waiting for somebody else to make a tackle.
50-yard line, 1st down. Edgar Bennett, nothing there. The watches that he gave his offensive lineman.
Movado.
Oh, those are nice.
I got no idea what Movado is, personally, but Levon Kirkland ain't standing around waiting for a watch on this one.
He's checking that. I told him that I was one of his offensive linemen. He wouldn't buy that. 2nd down and 10.
He almost felt kind of bad, though, because he says, I got him Movado. So you get that blank stare like, that's nice. Whoa, what's that?
Oh, those are the ones without the numbers. They're the expensive kind. Oh, great catch by Brooks. Reaches down and pulls it in. All hands.
You know, one of the keys to being a wide receiver in this offense, and I watched some great ones in San Francisco, and since then in other offenses, is you got to be fearless. You got to be willing to catch a ball around linebackers. And here's an example. Carnell Lake's coming up to fill up, but you know who the linebacker is that he avoided the first time. That was Greg Lloyd. And so if Brooks wants to be in this offense and wants to be functional as he really is, you got to go inside.
And Brooks has 8 100-yard receiving games. Bennett pops through. 20-yard line, 18, and then out of bounds. Oh, he accelerated as he changed gears. Darren Perry finally got him.
You know, one thing that play does, Charlie, it bruises the arrogance of Pittsburgh's defense. They told us last night, this offensive line can't hurt us. They can't smash the ball in our face. Wrong.
To both of them. Play action fake. Comes up for the pass, 9-yard line, then fumbled and then recovered. And it was Mark Chmura. That is reception number 51 for the tight end.
You know, Mark Chmura, has a lot have been said about it. You got to sign this free agent guy. He's got to be here. His contract's up. You don't want him all around going out there trying to get more money. There's two sides to that story. You know, Mark Chmura has had a great year here. He's had the whole deal with Brett Favre, his best buddy, getting him the ball. But Chmura's got to understand this system is perfect for him. It won't always be like this around the league.
And a clean hit by Myron Bell, and he stayed away from the helmet. Big hole right side, diving end zone. Edgar Bennett, 7th touchdown of the year. And a Christmas present right up there.
Remember, I told you about that arrogance of the defense. They can't slam it at us. Boy, did they slam that right in their face. That's right off the right side. Excellent blocking by Galbraith and Dotson, Chmura, Winters. I mean, they physically took it right to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Chris Jackie will attempt the extra point out of the hold of Hendrick. And it's good. Green Bay first on the scoreboard on Christmas Eve. They move out in front by a score of 7-0. Edgar Bennett diving for the touchdown. We'll be back with the kickoff in a moment. 63 yards in 6 plays. Bennett from 9 yards out for the touchdown. And so Craig Hendrick is going to kick off for Green Bay. Ernie Mills is the return man. He is deep for the Steelers. It's off to the far side. Will be taken by one of the upbacks. And that is McAfee. And so the Steelers will now go to work.
Let's look at that touchdown play. Watch the block by Chmura here and the combination block right here between Dotson and Galbraith. There's the combination. Chmura turns green. Now watch something else. Look how there's no hesitation for Bennett. Bennett goes right into the stands. There's a love affair between the Packers and the fans here. Could you see a player going in the stands around those no-class morons in Giant Stadium yesterday? They'd have cut him. They'd have cut him with the ice.
Steelers 31-yard line. They open this drive. Pump fake. Nobody is there. Has to pull it down, and it's sacked. Kaburski gets the sack.
And Charlie, remember what I told you. This is not a defensive line in a front that gets to the quarterback fast. They're going to push. They're going to push. When they wear you down and cover the guys, that's when they get their sacks. And that's how Kaburski got his.
27-yard line, 2nd and 14.
Boy, the emotional edge right now is definitely in Green Bay's favor.
Mike Holmgren, the head coach, said he wanted a lot of crowd noise. He is getting it. Sweep right side. Just a few yards for Fred McAfee before he is ridden out of bounds by George T.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of yards on that pickup, Charlie, but you got to like it if you're standing on the sideline and you're Bill Cowher, because with this emotional tie between the crowd and the Packers being pumped, trying to win this first NFC Central since 1972, you need some plays that are attitude plays. And that's an attitude play when your running back carries defenders out of bounds and won't let them get hit the other way. And that's an attitude coach right there. And Bill Cowher is a guy I think most people that have played this game would love to play for.
3rd and 6. Shotgun. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of Ernie Mills. And that was catchable. It'll be 4th down. The Steelers will have to kick it away.
Antonio Freeman in the deep position. Stark will do the punting.
No, Ron Stark will be kicking. Very little wind, if any, this afternoon. If it turns over, it's a good one. It does. Here is Freeman. 17-yard line. 20, 25 has an opening to the 30. Pretty good return, brought down around the 32 of the 33-yard line. Red McAfee makes the tackle for the Steelers. We'll step aside. When we come back, Green Bay first half. Green Bay up 7-0, and they have the ball. They start at the 33-yard line. 5 on target. Robert Brooks pulls it in. He's going to pick up a quick 8 yards as we go down to Jim Gray. Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Charlie. Well, we saw that disgusting exhibition yesterday in the Meadowlands. Well, there's a lot of snow on the ground here at Lambeau Field and in the stands. But you know, there was an announcement made before the game. Anybody caught throwing snow onto the field will not only be sent to prison today and thrown out of the game, they'll lose their season tickets. And there are 19,000 people on the waiting list, so they can afford to do that here. And there's not been one snowball out here thrown. In fact, the best sign here today is throw cheese, not snow. Charlie?
Yeah. And we go back to the running attack of Edgar Bennett. He picks up the first down.
I'll be honest with you, as a visitor, I don't know which one I'd rather see.
Is that soft cheese? Whipped cheese? Or
and there's a cheese. Hey, don't make fun of those. I used to make fun of those cheeseheads till a couple weeks ago in that news story about the guy flying the private plane
who was saved.
He was saved from serious head injuries by wearing his cheese head.
That's right, but you have to have a question in your mind of why he was wearing that as he was flying.
No, but when you get on the airplanes now, they're going to talk about seat belts. They're going to talk about your seat being a flotation device, and they're talking about your cheese head saving you in an accident.
Robert Brooks, it's incomplete. An update on the Kansas City-Seattle game. The Chiefs lead the Seahawks. They're in the second quarter in that ball game by a score of 13-3. Now, we understand that our ticker out of New York, there it is officially, that the ticker out of New York is not working, and we know that that is a game of prime importance, and we will be updating that along with others as we go along here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay.
You talk about a game of importance. Mike Holmgren and the Packers were watching that Detroit-Tampa Bay game yesterday very, very closely, hoping against hope Tampa could win. They could rest some regulars, but that is not the case. 2nd and 10, a screen. Here's Bennett behind the screen. He's out around the 47 or 48-yard line. And along that line, by the way, congratulations to Detroit. A big congratulations to San Diego. They had their work really cut out, came from behind, and also congratulations to Indianapolis. And coming up next is more playoff fun and games.
Yes.
You know, Denver, Oakland
comes after the first early games this afternoon, the most important game. That's the one that will go to most of the nation. Okay, we've got a timeout. Favre, the charismatic quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, has protection, has a man wide open. It is Brooks. And Brooks goes to the 35-yard line of the Steelers. And Favre just waits and waits, and he reads the man that's open.
Well, the problem right now is look at Brooks, basically a slot receiver. You got to be out of your ever-loving mind if you play this style of an offense, and you got a motion man or a slot receiver that you don't put a body on. If you don't put a body on him, it's like not putting a body on Jerry Rice. And Denny Green, Tony Dungy, and the Vikings found out how good that worked last Monday night.
Favre to throw. And he's going to be pulled down.
Here's my guy.
Kevin Green gets the sack. That is his 9th of the year.
Kevin, you know how long I've been out of the league, Charlie? When I was playing against Kevin Green, when he was on the Rams, Kevin Green still had that sort of Army Reserves buzz cut thing going. He made the pledge that until I play on a Super Bowl team, I will not cut my hair. And I bet after last season, when they lost to San Diego, he figured he might be a little old with hair down to his tail by the time he got that thing cut.
I hope it's soon. The ticker is up and working. Give you a chance to check the scores. Everything is going on. Favre to throw over the middle and wide open again. It is Brooks, and he's to the 30-yard line. When we talk with Brett Favre, of course, his mother, Benita, always inundates him with cards, and she hides them, and they appear in different places. And we asked him yesterday if he had heard from his mother, and he said, I'm doing a card show, autographs, in Milwaukee, and Santa Claus comes up, and he says, I have a present for you, and has this box. He said, I think it's something that's going to spring out at me. And I opened it up, and it was a card from my mother. And it said, Merry Christmas and good luck Sunday. That's a great family. 30-yard line, 3rd down and 5.
Watch the slots, Charlie.
Rolls away, fumbles. Pittsburgh has the ball. Favre trying to buy some extra time to roll away from a possible sack, and he gives up the fumble.
Well, Charlie, if you're going to roll, I don't know if you don't want to roll right towards Kevin Green's push rather than left towards the safety blitz coming right there with Carnell Lake coming out of that backside slot. You know, it's one of those, you know, we're not going to do much blitzing. We're not going to do much to Brett Favre. Yeah, right, guys. So far, all we've seen out of this defense of Dick LeBeau's and Cowers is blitzes on Brett Favre.
And for Green Bay, that is only the 6th fumble that they have lost this year. Steelers with an opportunity on the turnover at their 47-yard line. And Neil O'Donnell cashes in immediately with a 1st down as he goes to Yancey Thigpen.
That's the record for Yancey Thigpen, Charlie.
He breaks the record of John Stallworth, now with 81 receptions on the year.
And this is the type of pass play that Neil O'Donnell and this offense need a whole lot more. A little quick stuff to the outside. Start wearing down the inside.
And speaking of the record, here is John Stallworth when he set the record with the Steelers.
Well, the unsung star. Everybody wanted to talk about Lynn Stallworth, but our Lynn Swan.
On the draw, McAfee, and wrapped up immediately by the Packers. They have completely shut down the rushing attack of the Steelers, although the Steelers without Pegram and Bam Morris.
Well, it's really showing you what a running game can do to the passing game. The Packers are being very effective because theirs is working, and they're able to throw inside. Ron Earhart, there's offense is not running inside effectively. So right now they've been limited to basically outside pass plays.
2nd down and 11. Cordell Stewart in as a wide receiver. One-hand grab. It is pulled down by Ernie Mills, and Newsom pulls him down.
Yeah, nice catches.
Oh, yes.
All of them.
Yeah.
He only had about 3 or 4 there. That is called making the average to easy look incredibly difficult here. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 catches. He'll only get 1 in the stats book. He won't get a 1st down, but he'll get 1 catch and a few yards. It's the problem this offense is having right now is they're dropping the ball. They're just not sharp timing-wise.
Kansas City has scored again. They now lead Seattle 20-3 in the 1st half. Off to the right side. And that is Andre Hastings. Keith Crawford with the tackle for the Packers. And all of a sudden the Steelers are cranking up this drive, trying to capitalize on the turnover, the fumble recovery by Carnell Lake.
Well, what you're getting right there is you're starting to get a lot of cover, too. That 2-deep zone where the safeties run deep, help outside of the receivers. They're running off the wide receivers, a guy like Mills up front, and then dragging the next guy back behind him. That'll leave the flat wide open.
1st down, 17-yard line of Green Bay. Steelers trail 7-0. O'Donnell to throw. Good protection. End zone. Has a man. Incomplete. Cordell Stewart could not hang on to it. Did not have possession. Was hit by Doug Evans.
This was Cordell Stewart the whole way. He's the motion man, just going out of the screen left. Neil O'Donnell looks. See the safeties and everything move as soon as O'Donnell turns his head. He gets the ball there, but good timing by Evans, 33, getting there right into the back of Cordell Stewart.
Second down and 10, 17-yard line.
That's why he was drafted as a quarterback.
Yes.
You can't argue. You can't yell at a guy for not catching it either.
Pressure dropped off to the safety valve, and Dak McAfee has it, and Newsome drops him in his stride. Whoa. That's a Christmas hit.
Well, there are hits like that you can usually see coming 5-10 yards away. What a great example. Look at the coverage down the field. Good protection. As this ball gets into the air, you just saw that one coming. That was just Newsome had about 4 or 5 yards, and I guess it's prerequisite now. You got to pose after making a play. But
I like Lou Holtz. You pose after the good ones, you got to pose after the bad ones. Third down, 14. Buying time. Stepping outside at the 15-yard line, just on the boundary. Newsome is here. McAfee with the reception. He's the safety valve, and Norm Johnson will come in with a field goal attempt. The Steelers shut down offensively once they got deep into Packer territory. Now we'll go for the 3.
Charlie, when it's O'Donnell or Marino or Elway or Kelly, we say, wonderful agility, buying time.
Yes.
If it's a young guy, he's running for his life. And I'm not sure if Neil O'Donnell right there isn't just sort of running for his life.
I think you're right. From the 23. 33-yard field goal attempt right down the middle. And so Norm Johnson quiets the crowd. The Steelers are on the board. The score 7-3 Green Bay. We'll be back with a kickoff in a moment. Lambeau Field, Norm Johnson has tied the Steelers team record for most field goals in a season with 33, and he hit his 33rd from 33 yards away.
It's amazing this guy's even here with Pittsburgh. I mean, here's a guy that had a great stay in Seattle, an even better, more successful stay in Atlanta, and the only reason he's here in Pittsburgh is that Anderson became available out of New Orleans. Morton Anderson was cut by New Orleans. Atlanta picks him up, suddenly cuts a guy this quality loose. Pittsburgh's lucky to have him.
And here's the kickoff. Norm Johnson in his 14th year. Travis Jervey finally picks it up and makes the return. He was back with Antonio Freeman. Darren Perry was there for Pittsburgh. All right, here's the situation. Pittsburgh 3, Green Bay leads 7-3. Now, for Mike Holmgren and the Green Bay Packers, if they win today, it's their first divisional title in 23 years. It means that they will host next weekend the wild card. Now, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they need a victory today. They're trailing, but they also need Kansas City to lose. Kansas City is winning right now. If that happens, then the Steelers would have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Otherwise, they have home field advantage except for the championship game right now.
I think the most important thing for Pittsburgh, regardless of what Kansas City does, is they need a strong, dominant performance. And so far, Bill Cowher's team has not gotten that. They need something to carry them into this bye week. They're going to have a bye week next week. They need something positive going into this week coming up. For Green Bay and Mike Holmgren, it's very simple. They need that NFC Central title to sort of add that next building block in what Mike's trying to get done here in Green Bay. And more importantly, they want the game next week here in Lambeau Field. They do not want to be on the road.
2nd and 8, fire, pump fake, rolls right. Waves, directs traffic, keeps, turns the corner, steps, throws. Pass is complete. Robert Brooks has it. That is one of those. When Favre goes back to the huddle, they'll say, what did you do? And you say, I don't know what I did.
Well, you know what he did, Charlie? Very simple. I mentioned the thing about coaching produces great results technique-wise.
Yes.
A technique you use when a quarterback moves for receivers, you adjust to your quarterback. You find where your quarterback is. Brett Favre throws this ball, and he's got no business actually finding somebody. But watch Brooks adjust. As Favre slides, he slides. He sees the sideline, he stops. And very simple, but if you don't practice it, that doesn't happen.
First down, 34-yard line. Little play action fake coming off to the pass to Dorsey Levens. First reception of the ball game, 45th of the year. First down, Green Bay.
Very important for Favre. Like we said, quick passing, move around your pocket. And it's something in this offense you've got to have if you're going to play the fullback position. You better have a good pair of mitts to catch the ball.
Brett Favre will be the starting quarterback in the Pro Bowl. And Kevin Green awaits him for the Steelers. Somebody was uncovered. Almost intercepted. Did he get it in bounds? No, he was out of bounds. And the Steelers will argue. The defender, just like the receiver, has to have the reception with both feet in bounds.
Well, did you see the linebacker, Oslavsky, and everybody else turn around, point to their ears like audible, audible? And when you get that audible, what you're looking for is some sort of a quick slant or a fade. And what they got was the fade. Good reaction by Perry. It was Perry that came across from his safety position, should have had that interception.
And he had it right along the sideline, but did not get both feet in bounds. And now, again, the Steeler defense turns and they look to the sideline. And they have a blitz coming. It's picked up. Favre, good time. Has a man wide open. And he hits him, spins loose down the sideline. It is Mark Ingram. The Steelers defense, they're confused, and right now Favre is picking them apart.
Watch Oslavsky coming from middle linebacker, 55, picked up by Edgar Bennett and generally abused. Also abused, Carnell Lake, not a very good tackle. I talked about that earlier. It's a problem this defense has had the last few weeks. Dick LeBeau's defenders are getting all his signals, all his wiggle waggles, but what they're not doing right now is wrapping up these Packer receivers and running backs.
First down, 25-yard line, 2:26 and counting. Time remaining, first half. On the draw. Edgar Bennett. They're going to mark him down at the 19-yard line.
Hey, just watch the blocking up front. This doesn't need a whole lot of explanation. This is physical. The first 2 or 3 yards are on the line. The rest is on Edgar Bennett.
And we'll be back after this word for the NFL. You're watching the NFL, and that is Santa cheese. All right, let's go down to Jim Gray. Jim? Oh, Jim. There you are. Go, Jim.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Well, coming up at halftime, I spoke with John Elway. There was a lot of speculation in Denver this week that this would be John Elway's last game. Well, yesterday he told us he will be back, and he'd like to renegotiate his contract and add some years. We'll have that conversation coming up at halftime. Charlie?
And that, of course, is ever changing today.
I really think playoff games belong here in front of fans like this at Lambeau Field. You know what else belongs here? And as much as they throw stuff at him and hate him in general because he was a Bear, Mike Ditka belongs in this type of a setting here.
Yeah, this is
at
a great
Lambeau
setting.
Field. I mean, how many times did he play in some great games here? And you know, this is the type of place. We were in Cleveland last week for the last game in that stadium. There should never be a last game at Lambeau Field.
Into the end zone, touchdown. Robert Brooks.
More bonding.
Now, earlier you saw the gift of the football to the fans. Here's the gift of the whole body.
Guess what, folks? Once again, the Steeler defense is faced with getting a body on a slot receiver. Doesn't do it, and Dick LeBeau's defense pays the price. Brooks will come in from the left side of the screen. Tight end clears out Chimura, coming in from the slot. Thank you very much.
And the extra point attempt. It is good. Brett Favre now is thrown for 37 touchdown. Robert Brooks, that is his 13th touchdown reception of the season, and Green Bay goes up by a score of 14-3. And as you saw, we have 1 minute and 56 seconds left in the half as we check it out from the low angle. There's the complete gift.
I tell you, it's fan bonding. I love this. This is the relationship you should have between players and fans, not that pathetic side as Jim Gray referred to it. You saw yesterday.
Quarter, establishing the Packer record for most receiving yards in a season, and 1,477.
Formerly held by Mr. Sterling Sharp.
Ernie Mills is the deep back on the return team for the Steelers. He will gather it in at the 8-yard line. Now to the 20, the 25, and he's heading down around the 31-yard line. Tomorrow, join NBC Sports for an exciting NBA doubleheader starting with NBA Showtime at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then watch as David Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs travel to Phoenix.
Shaquille O'Neal having to miss those games with that broken thumb. Somebody's going to pay.
Pass complete over the middle underneath the coverage and a first down. Ernie Mills pulls it in. Leroy Butler.
This is
on the receiving end. And remember what Gower said? He said early on in the year we were trading, we went to the hurry up, no huddle, 1 minute. And he said we're very comfortable with it.
That might be the best part of their offense right now.
And on target, throwing into a crowd. Neil O'Donnell, who had been off target early on, is on target now as he goes to Andre Hastings. And we've got a timeout to stop the clock. Still plenty of time left. 1:23 before halftime.
And just good, quick, efficient passes being called by Ron Earhart to his quarterback, Neil O'Donnell there. And what you've seen 2 plays in a row, too, besides quick passes, is that Green Bay defense that was getting such good wood on the offensive players for Pittsburgh is not getting that good wood on them right now. They're getting them with arms, and they're breaking these tackles.
And the ball at the Green Bay 41-yard line. Packers are up 14-3 now with 1:23 time remaining first half.
And one thing that's missing from Bill Cowher's offense, I don't care if anybody denies it and says it isn't so, is Eric Green from the tight end position. When they get in these type of situations, he really was a threat in the middle of the field. How have they substituted that? Well, Earhart and Cowher have gone to these 4 and 5 wide receivers. They use a lot more motion, and now it's the Cordell Stewarts and whatnot that are running those same patterns up the middle of the field.
Both ball clubs with 2 timeouts remaining. Another reminder, stay with us at halftime. Greg Gumbel and the Elves will be updating you on the scores and highlights around the National Football League. Jim Gray's interview with John Elway. That's all still to come here on NBC, followed by the second half of the doubleheader here on Christmas Eve. O'Donnell, shotgun, far side, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Ernie Mills. When you look at Neil O'Donnell now, a little bit of a close-up, and we had a chance to talk to him, and he gets a bit of kidding because he now has the full beard. It's almost a look-alike of Dan Fouts.
Oh, yeah, and there's a defensive coordinator, Fritz Sherman, the Packers, that knows a lot about Dan Fouts and facing those types of offenses. You know, O'Donnell doesn't like it, but I'm sure Fritz Sherman there doesn't like it when O'Donnell gets into the zone just as much and starts throwing like that former great Charger quarterback.
Well, I thought we'd see a close-up of O'Donnell, and we saw a close-up of an old face. Safety valve near side, McAbee, and he's going to get out of bounds to stop the clock. And he's out at the 37-yard line. Minute 12 time remaining. Evans and McGill for the Packers.
Well, did you notice when Fritz was running on the field, he was giving that kind of pushing, like soft type look, that little thing with his arms?
Yep.
What that's telling his linebackers and his defensive backs is, look, keep everything in front of you. If you're rushing the passer, great, go get the passer.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, keep them in front of you. Don't let anybody down the field.
Now the crowd back in the ball game for Green Bay. Here's the home field advantage. Stewart was in the slot. A crossing pattern underneath it is Thigpen. Thigpen to the 23-yard line. Keith Crawford and Craig Newsom with the tackle.
There's plenty of time here. We're just about 1 minute left, and there's no reason really to go crazy and rush for the Steelers. They're taking their time.
O'Donnell fires on target again, Ernie Mills. And he pulls it down at the 14-yard line. And they continue what they call it their 1 minute offense, the no huddle, and they hurry up. Maybe they want to open the second half this way.
I would play the whole game in this if I was them right now. It's the best part of their offense.
Right. And again, shotgun. And it'll be a first down at the 8-yard line. First down goal to go. Mike Pryor pulling down Andre Hastings.
You know, Charlie,
he can't miss.
The timing of this offense is remarkably better. Remember the timing between the quarterback and the receivers?
Yes.
The balls were being tipped. The balls were being missed. Now they're clicking efficiently. You know, at what point does Ron Earhart and Bill Cowher just say, hey, look, guys.
Yeah. By the way.
Let's just do this. You know, we won't tell you it's 2 minutes. We won't tell you it's a minute to go. We'll say you have the ball, go score with it. Just do this the whole time.
Emotionally, what does that take out of an offense? Is that tougher to do a whole half? Can you stay at that level?
It's not that hard. It's tough on the receivers because they're running down the field, you know, play after play after play. But I think Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills proved a long time ago that can be done very efficiently.
And also, it will mess up the defense. They've got to keep changing what they do, so they end up going with a base defense against you.
Well, the biggest problem for Fritz Shermer and his defense, and any defense that faces this type of an offense, Charlie, is you tend to mentally rush. You've got more time than you think. You think because they're not huddling, you can't substitute it. You can't throw your extra bodies in there. You can't get your Reggie Whites out on the field. You can't get that good pass rush on your people. You're wrong. You have to concentrate and adjust, and don't let a slot man run free.
29 seconds, first down, goal to go, 8-yard line. End zone, incomplete. Ernie Mills, the intended receiver, and Greg Newsome was there for Green Bay.
What a difference a year makes. It's an old, tired saying, but remember that old power rushing team of the Steelers they had, what, 12 months ago?
Yes.
It doesn't exist. This is a passing game that can make it happen, and right there is just, you know, a millisecond in timing away from being a touchdown.
Second down, goal to go, 8-yard line.
Keep track of Cordell Stewart. If he doesn't draw the ball, he'll draw the attention.
He comes across in motion. End zone, caught, touchdown. Ernie Mills has the touchdown. That is his 8th of the year. And the Steelers very effective in their hurry-up offense.
Hey, and what Ron Earhart does with that play, you saw Cordell Stewart go in motion. He goes off into the flat. They flood the zone out and underneath, and they send Mills in behind it all, and he gets the touchdown. Great play calling. Yeah, that's just a good example of game planning and film watching and knowing what to expect out of a defense.
Norm Johnson with the point after. And he continues to be perfect on the year, now 39 of 39. And the Steelers pull within 4.
Now watch Cordell Stewart. He's the guy in motion. He goes to the left. He drags things that way. You saw Bruner, the tight end, drag things the other way. And Mills comes right up the slot. Mills will literally run right across the screen right here. There goes Bruner. Here comes Mills. Right into the camera. That's good chalkboard. Right there, Mike Holmgren and Fritz Shermer and the Packers got out chalkboard.
Be sure to stay with us with the second half of the doubleheader.
Teams, because they've created their own mess.
Deep backs are uptight, expecting this kind of a kick taken by one of the up back. And it is Jeff Thompson. Thomason, the number 3 tight end for the Packers, is the return man.
That last drive for Pittsburgh, Charlie, 9 plays, 70 yards. A minute and 36 seconds. Ooh. Like I said, you might want to at least consider Bill Cowher and at least put it up to a vote. You guys want to do this the whole time?
It's a benevolent dictatorship.
Just a question.
It's just one vote count.
And Mike Holmgren says, I'm going to fall on the ball. Very even game. Regardless of what you say, you look at those stats, and they tell you it's a very thing for the Steelers defense, Charlie, we've been talking about. You got to put a body on the slot man, and the most dangerous slot man has definitely been Robert Brooks.
So as we start the second half, the Packers are up by 4, 14-10. It is high, a bit on the short side. Antonio Freeman with the return. Good field position as he is out to the 35-yard line. And now let's go down to Jim Gray on the sideline.
All right, thank you very much, Charlie. I spoke to both head coaches. Bill Cowher said he likes the position they're in, was pleased with what went on at the last minute of the first half. Said he feels that the team has weathered the storm. I asked him if he was aware of the Kansas City score. He said he was. He said he couldn't care less. He wants to win this game right now. That's all that's important to him. As for Green Bay, Mike Holmgren said that he too likes his club's position, felt they played very well, and wants to establish something very early here in the second half. Told his team we've got 30 minutes to get this title so we can be here next week. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Jim. Jim dressed warmly, started earlier today. And they open with a big play. Exactly what Green Bay needs. Mark Chmura, the tight end, his second reception of the ball game. He now has 52 on the year. Big play.
And what opens up the middle of the field for a tight end? A fear of a slot receiver. Chmura, just a quick little turnaround and makes the rest happen by himself. This is a guy that's absolutely thrived as a perfect tight end for this offense. And here's your Pro Bowl Packers for 1995. Chmura is awfully excited.
Edgar Bennett is the ball carrier. He rooms, of course, on the road with Brett Favre. They're very close friends. He said, not in Hawaii. Not in Hawaii.
No, I asked Favre about that, and he goes, well, Mark's wife would be awful disappointed if she found out we were rooming together in Hawaii.
Oh, they'll have a great time. How many Pro Bowls were you in?
I was in 3.
And it's got to be a super fight.
Pro Bowls are a lot like Super Bowls. There's only one thing worse than never being to one. That's only being to one. Because once you've been there, you know how great it is.
And you want to go back. And you want to go back. All right, Favre, 3-step drop. Pass is complete. And he hits Brooks' 40-yard line.
That's 100 receptions now for Brooks. And it's getting it the working man's way. A lot of receivers go for the big flashy stuff. If you're in this offense, as Sterling Sharp found out before him, and Jerry Rice has made a living at it a long time, you got to be willing to get the little ones to get the big ones.
His 9th reception of the ball game. Number 100 on the year.
Got a little stinger on that right arm on that tackle, and stingers come easy in this weather.
3rd down, 3 knocked away. Good defensive play. Myron Bell with a strong safety blitz, and he knocks it down.
Remember what I told you earlier, Charlie, in this offense, when you're running quick passes against this defense that wants to blitz and come after you, you get a lot of this. You get a lot of passes knocked down because the quarterback's passing angles and passing lanes are closed down by arms and bodies.
Craig Hendrick keeping his hands warm. He'll be kicking to Andre Hastings, who's also keeping his hands warm. The temperature is in the low 20s, and the wind chill is floating around 0. Oh, good kick. Just trying to hang it up and straight down. As his cover men there, still in the field of play, down to the 2-yard line. Keith Crawford makes the play. The crowd back in the ball game. We'll be back in a moment.
Pittsburgh, Charlie. Jason Strelzik back at left guard. Jackson at left tackle. So they're not worried about Jackson anymore at left tackle. They're going to their strongest offensive line.
They start from the 3-yard line. Deep over the middle. Man open. Does he hang on to it? No. Mark Bruner, the rookie tight end, and he was nailed by Leroy Butler, and he couldn't hold on. So you bring it back to the 3.
Charlie, Neil O'Donnell tries to drop this in the zone between the linebackers and the defensive backs and leads just a little too much. If you drop that in a little bit earlier, Butler can't get there and can't break that up. But that's a good reaction time by that safety, Leroy Butler. He has made a living here in Green Bay of big hits and big plays.
18 of 28 for Neil O'Donnell. Is there anything on the ground? No, hasn't been all day. Fred McAfee is stopped.
Well, they've tried to go after Sean Jones' side several times this week today, and they've gotten basically the same result. Sean Jones and that side of the defense isn't having any of it. Strickland from the middle linebacker position makes the tackle, but it's Jones and the guys up front that bust it loose.
And Reggie White comes aboard, number 92.
Hey, you know, talk about Sean Jones, Charlie. Here's a guy that has made a career of being the other defensive end. This guy should have been in the Pro Bowl 4 or 5 times and hasn't been.
He may be the best other defensive end there's ever been. Incomplete. Corey Holliday, who was activated from the practice squad for this ball game, could not make the one-hand grab as Reggie White cheerleads. Newsom makes the play.
Well, what they're getting here, Charlie, they're getting some of that fire back. That ball should have been caught, period. O'Donnell puts it there. That's what that body language tells you. But what Green Bay is getting back right now is that fire. A couple of good offensive plays from the Packers. They pin the Steelers back, and Reggie can get out of his pom-poms, get this crowd pumped up. Packers will get good field position.
Excellent field position. Ron Stark will be kicking. And it's not that good a kick.
It's a return ball.
Taken at the 40-yard line. Freeman, far side, cuts back, slips a tackle, and then is dropped at the 32-yard line. Jason Gilden makes the tackle for the Steelers. We'll step aside. We'll be back.
That guy would rip your head off in a second if you're an offensive player.
That's right.
Awful kind and soft message from Mr. Lloyd.
Yes. Favre checks, comes back, and it is incomplete. He was trying to buy a middle screen. He was looking deep. He went to his right, and he came back. He's already thrown for, what, 206 yards. Here is Keith Crawford. Now, why do you want a shot of Keith Crawford, you might ask? Well, the ball is at the 32-yard line of the Steelers. This whole sequence was set up by the play that Keith Crawford made when he kept the ball from going into the end zone. Defense holds. They have to punt. All of a sudden, they have great field position because of the play of this man.
And the play of the special teams. And Nolan Cromwell has been very strong this whole season.
Over the middle, Royce Levens inside the 15 to the 9-yard line. Darren Perry and Myron Bell finally stop him at the 9. First down, goal to go, Green Bay.
Dick LeBeau's defense went in and said, hey, look, Brooks' slot is killing us. They haven't thrown it to Brooks yet. Who have they thrown it to? They've thrown it to Chimera. They've thrown it to Levens, who gets a nice block from Keith Jackson, the other tight end here in Green Bay. And the middle of this field is what's being exploited right now by Brett Favre. Is off to a great start. 239 yards already passing.
Bennett and Henderson are the running backs. First down, goal to go. 9. And it is the second back through Edgar Bennett. Rickson Buckner of the Steelers makes the tackle. It's going to be second down and goal to go.
You know, sometimes I think you underappreciate the job that Brett Favre has done here in Green Bay. Not so much just this year. You got to look at what this guy's done. Here's the same quarterback, Charlie, 2 years ago, threw 24 interceptions and was dogged mercilessly in this area by Packer fans for making those interceptions and costing him some football games. This guy is a true, legit NFL man at quarterback now. 37 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions. Wants to throw back. He's going to run for it. And he dives. Does he get in? No. They're going to mark him down shy of the goal line. He's hurt, Charlie. He is hurt.
Pinned down by Greg Lloyd.
Watch the end of this play. He sees nothing happening. He runs right by and through his offensive line. There's Frank Winter. There's Rutgers. There's the group. And that hit comes in right at the end with his left shoulder pinned into the ground.
He's shaking his right hand in the huddle.
Well, I told you about an NFL man at quarterback. And this is the reason this guy is such a well-loved leader here in Green Bay. The team loves him. The people love him. And he's going to be your MVP in '95 in the NFL.
We come back live. He's hurting. He was waving his hands in the huddle. Then he started towards the sidelines. Then he went to his knee. The trainers come out. We'll be back. They're working with him on the sideline. They have called the timeout. Let's go down to Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Charlie. Well, Brett Favre has been holding his stomach. He threw up as he came off the field. It seems as though he took a shot to the stomach. He's a little rubbery-legged, and they've been trying to see if, in fact, it's just the stomach shot that he's taken. They've talked to McMahon, but Favre is going to return to the game here. So apparently he's all right, just took a shot in the stomach.
You would expect him to return to the game.
This guy's stronger than a garlic milkshake. I mean,
that is strong.
That is strong. You can't keep this guy out. I don't care what the situation is. And look at the eyes of these Packer players in the huddle. You see the guys just staring at him. They feed off the strength of this quarterback.
Third down goal to go less than a yard. He rolls right. He throws end zone touchdown.
Who's he find? His guy Chimura.
His roommate and best friend has just scored his 7th touchdown of the season, and Brett Favre has now thrown for 38.
Brett Favre is moving into some elite company as far as touchdown passes in this league and quarterbacks in this league. And what Dick LeBeau's defense is seeing right now for Pittsburgh is just a brain and guts performance from Brett Favre.
Hendrick will hold. Jackie with the extra point.
You know, I talked about the fact of, 1995, the year of the pass, and how things have gone, and we're in the NFC Central. Well, the Central is living by the pass, and the reason, there's guys like Kramer and Moon, and this guy, Brett Favre, throwing for touchdowns. Remember, here's the same guy that was hurt. He got rid of breakfast a little bit a while ago on this field. He comes right back in, picks the dirt off his helmet, finds his best buddy Mark Chimura for a critical touchdown.
And now the graphic on Brett Favre, number 38, as I mentioned. Dan Marino with 44, and also Dan Marino with 48.
Well, that's ever. That's not, let's see what's happened lately.
Single season ever.
And that is lately. You see they're checking into the mouth of Brett Favre. You can get some.
32 yards on the drive in 5 plays. The pack up 21-10. Hendrick is kicking it away for Green Bay. Ernie Mills on the return. Out to the 20 and dropped to the 21-yard line.
Charlie, the fire is back for the Packers.
Yes. Marcus Wilson with the tackle on the kickoff team for Green Bay. So now will Pittsburgh go into their hurry-up offense effective in the end of the second quarter?
I don't think so. I think they'll do what their normal offense would do. And here's what a normal special teams headhunter Marcus Wilson does when he's trying to get some of that pep and that fire and that spark into the special teams. Nice play.
Cordell Stewart is in the slot on the left side. They give us to the running back McAfee right side. He's out to the 27-yard line. He's going to pick up 6 yards along the way. It'll be 2nd down and 4 as Simmons and Newsom make the tackle. Meanwhile, everybody concerned with Brett Favre on the sideline.
2nd and 3.
They're checking his mouth with the lights, and you're important. See, if a second-string guy gets hurt, you got one guy there. Now you got 4 guys trying to figure out what's wrong. You can tell you're talking to a quarterback star, an MVP candidate.
2nd down. And the ground. Left side, 1st down. And it is McAfee. And he's out to the 40-yard line.
Well, you want to talk about just what the doctor ordered for this Pittsburgh offense. Ron Earhart, the coordinator, standing there on the sideline. And what he wants is he wants some runs. If he gets some runs, the whole offense opens up. You saw the offense worked great at the end of the half, just throwing. You can't make your living that way if you're not used to it. The way to make your living is open it and soften it with the run. That makes the stewards and company a lot more important.
Throwing on 1st down. Good time. Drops it off. Mark Bruner, the tight end. Simmons and Labouty with the tackle for Green Bay. Not a lot deep for Neil O'Donnell.
What you're seeing, too, is both quarterbacks, Favre and O'Donnell. Have you watched them in the pocket, the way they get back, they make their read, and then their heads and their feet just start moving back and forth, trying to find that 3rd, 4th, 5th type read. And that usually means you're not getting a lot of quick pressure when you're getting that along in your progression.
2nd and 7. Cordell Stewart is in the slot left. Looking left. And incomplete. Stewart, the intended receiver. We've got a flag down. And as we check that out, let's check out Jim Gray with a report on quarterback Brett Favre.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Well, Brett Favre is gargling that water. It's nothing in his mouth, however. It's his stomach. They're trying to see if after he gargles, if it gets down into his stomach, if he's going to spit it right back up and see if there's any blood for internal bleeding. He seems to be indicating that he's okay, but they've just told Jim McMahon to warm up, so I believe right now it's very questionable whether Brett Favre will return.
You notice thank you, Jimmy. Notice those sideburns? Brett likes those sideburns. He says Elvis had those sideburns, and he's from Mississippi, and I'm from Mississippi, and I like these sideburns.
I think there's more like Chris Isaacs.
He's something else, isn't he?
Yeah, he really
want to play for it.
He's a tough guy, and he's your definition of a kind of guy that, you know, the doctors have to tell him when he's going to play because he'd want to play regardless.
First down, 48-yard line. And back to the running game, and it's successful for the Steelers. Fred McAfee again getting the call. Mike Pryor with the tackle.
I tell you one thing they're not doing is even if Reggie White is hurt, they are still not going at him. Look at Big 92 on the left side of the screen. He's in, but even though we've had some success going right and not much left in the first half, I think we'll keep going over there to the left where Reggie is.
Yes. McAfee has rushed for a total of 44 yards in the ball game. The running attack of the Steelers stymied completely in the first half. Tipped, it is airborne, incomplete, and flags are down.
That's going to be a grab from the backside. It's going to be pass interference on Green Bay.
Ernie Mills, the intended receiver. Newsome was there for Green Bay. Haven't had a lot of flags today, though. Well-played ball game. A cold Christmas Eve.
That either means a well-clean played ball game or the officials also have an early flight.
I think they're racing for the same flight that we're on. Yeah, we are all airborne. Everybody heads home for Christmas Eve, and the grandkids are going to be there. All right.
Pass interference, number 21, defense. Automatic first down.
Quick update: Kansas City leads Seattle third quarter 23-3. Look at this: Atlanta leading San Francisco 22-21, leading by one third quarter. Woo, thank you for that.
One more time. Let's see if we can see it. Yep. There it is. Craig Newsome right getting onto the back right there, and that's why that flag was thrown. Just a tick. I mean, just a nanosecond early. But a good call.
Nanosecond. 40-yard line Packers. First down. Green Bay up 21-10. O'Donnell screen, sets it. Far side, McAfee. Around the corner. He'll go it around the 33-yard line. Doug Evans with the tackle.
You don't forget, too, you know, the Packers got a chance here to win this 11th game, and that really starts to impact on the home field advantage and where people play as far as, you know, does San Francisco win? Does San Francisco lose? Does Dallas win? Does Dallas lose? You know, and that's when you expect the big plays start coming, especially from this defense. But so far right now, Earhart and this offense have really got a good chess match. They're making the calls going against this defense.
Green Bay wins. They're the division champion, and they are home next weekend. They lose, they're on the road. Fred McAfee. Now, McAfee coming into the ball game had rushed all season long only 22 times for a total of 94 yards. Of course, Eric Pegram and Bam Morris carrying the rushing load. They're both inactive for this ball game. 14 carries, 52 yards.
Well, yeah, I told you, Charlie, I saw this guy a lot when he was in New Orleans.
Yes.
He's a good, solid running back. He's not flashy. He's somewhere between a power back and more of a skittery back like Eric Pegram is, the regular rusher who got 1,000 yards a couple of years ago for Atlanta. This guy here, though, McAfee, will not hurt you out of the backfield.
First down, 25-yard line. Stewart's the motion man. Pass is complete out of the backfield. That is Steve Avery. Only his 11th reception on the year. He is bothered by a groin injury. Simmons and Evans make the tackle. I think everybody in the backfield, the Steelers, is hurt in one form or another, with the exception of Fred McAfee.
Well, you know what they're doing, though, Charlie? They might be hurt. They might be dinged, but they're contributing.
Yes.
And here's somehow, some way, I'm going to get those last couple of yards there at the end for Steve Avery. Loses his balance, starts to fall, but he won't go down.
Avery, a special team specialist, quite a musician, plays 8 different instruments. He's trying to make some Christmas music here as he draws the carry. The handoff from Neil O'Donnell. John Yurkovich makes the tackle. Yurkovich, number 64, had a chance to visit. He's nice. He's a character, isn't he?
Yeah, he really
is. You know what I heard? Did you hear that about they had a Yurkovich look-alike contest in town, and there was no winners? And only he would appreciate
Well, I'll tell you one thing he's got his hands full with Dermontti Dawson.
Yes, he does. He talked about that, didn't he?
You know, quickness-wise, strength-wise, right now Dawson is the man at center in the NFL.
First down, 13-yard line. Play action fake, pressure backside, just barely gets it away. Stewart, the intended receiver, and right after O'Donnell made the release, he was dead. George T. Whoa.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sean Jones comes over John Jackson, the left tackle. Watch Jones.
Here he comes, top of the screen. Oh.
He just basically runs right around John Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson missed 4 games this year with a bad knee. His agility isn't where it should be. His knee bend isn't where it should be. And his quarterback's where he should be, on his back.
2nd and 10, 13-yard line. And it is high but pulled down by Cordell Stewart, and he is out at the 7-yard line. We talked with Stewart yesterday. He's a quarterback. He's a wide receiver because it helps the ball club. But he says, and he reiterates, his future as a quarterback and his contract, all the incentives are built in as a quarterback.
Well, it's a wonderful one-year grand experiment. Yeah. He'll be back in quarterback. But what he says helps him, Charlie, is he gets out and he runs these patterns. He gets on the field, and he can now appreciate the receiver's perspective. You know, you get in the normal parts of the field. You get into the squeezed red zone part of the field. As a quarterback, you can't always appreciate how tough a receiver's job is. Now he can. He's been there.
3rd down and 4, 7-yard line. Pump fake, end zone, incomplete. No flag. Good coverage. Mike Pryor had the coverage on Mike Bruner. And the field goal team will come in with 3:15. That's the time remaining in the 3rd quarter.
You know, this play goes over to the left eventually, or the screen right here to Bruner. But I'll tell you what, who was wide open. Ernie Mills in the back of the end zone had about 2 or 3 yards on Craig Newsom. And O'Donnell just couldn't see him. Had a touchdown.
Norm Johnson, 25-yard field goal attempt. He is hit from 33 in the ball game. And he now is hit from 25. So the Steelers will add 3 to their total, and they trail 21-13. Jim McMahon, will he be the quarterback for the Packers? We'll find out when we come back. That means one thing. He will be the quarterback for Green Bay.
That's the key to keeping this guy out of the game. If you don't hide that helmet there with the big G on the side, he's going back in. Simple. End of story, end of report.
That's right, and if you hide it, he may steal somebody else's too.
Yeah, well, actually, he would look better at the kind of quarterback he is. He and McMahon, his backup, would look better in cages.
You're right.
Be more appropriate.
Norm Johnson kicks it away. Taken at the 13-yard line by Antonio Freeman. Flag is down. Another flag is down.
You're going to have a little holding.
He was just a step away from making the break. Alvoid Mays with the tackle.
A little holding and or pushing the back. Looked like your basic smorgasbord there. There were a whole bunch of things going on.
I always wonder, though, why is that penalty called so much? Every ball player sits there and Pop Warner, no, you can't do that on a kickoff.
And holding, as Jerry Markbright tells you, desperation. You know, everybody wants to be the one to make that extra special play.
Holding, number 85 on the return. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Terry Mickens takes the call.
And that's also why, Charlie, a lot of special teams players have the life expectancy of a housefly.
Back in a moment. 3 left in the 3rd. Green Bay leads at 21-13. Here's another set of numbers, and that's the penalties. Green Bay has been penalized 4 times for 28 yards. 4 times 28 yards. Pittsburgh, 0. Zap across the board. No penalties.
But, you know, the penalties that Green Bay has had have been overcome at times by some of the plays that Brett Favre and this offense have made. And that's a key thing for Mike Holmgren in this offense right here. going against Greg Lloyd and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is to be very, very patient. You don't go for the juggler right now. Now's the time where a methodical drive keeps Neil O'Donnell right there in his cape on the sideline and keeps your offense on the field.
And it is appropriate on this Christmas Eve that now the snow is starting to fall in Green Bay. And here's Edgar Bennett. Bennett from the 13 out to the 16-yard line, 2nd and 7.
Charlie, the snow doesn't fall here like this. I mean, fall in Green Bay is hard. This is a dusting.
The dust.
We're being dusted. It's just sort of a...
Has a nice Christmas feel to it.
It's dusting.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're just dusting the cheeseheads. It's only appropriate. They wouldn't figure it was Christmas Eve here in Green Bay unless they were being dusted.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. After all, it's the night before Christmas. And Favre to throw. Swing right side, slips the tackle. Edgar Bennett, nice move. They will mark him out at the 25-yard line. He's got the first down.
Nice.
Aaron Bell finally got it. Boy, what a move. Woo.
Nice catch. And here's what you call, he called, Edgar Bennett says, Mr. Myron Bell, number 40, leave your jock right about there. I will fake you out of it and head back on up the field.
Yeah, Willie Williams is the one that took him out.
Here's a guy, 1,000-yard rusher here in Green Bay. Last week got that 1,000. First guy since Turdell Middleton, 1978.
And they said, what does that mean? They said, well, it means that Turdell Middleton's not going to be mentioned as much as he has over the last few years. Edgar Bennett has a yard. The report on Brett Favre is medically it is a bruised chest, and he still has a bit of an upset stomach. But you know what I'm saying? If you have an upset stomach, and you have a little bit of snow, and it's cold, and you have the adrenaline going, that's the best medicine in the world.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Huh.
Yes. That's from Dr. Jones.
I always thought my stomach hurt and I was freezing my tail off when it happened to me.
You didn't realize how good you had it at that time.
Gosh, look what I missed.
See, you feel better already.
I would suggest you don't mention that to Brett Favre, though. He might disagree.
2nd down and 9. Favre throws right on target, first down. Mark Chimura, one of the favorites here, and Favre's best friend, and he's got another reception.
Well, I tell you what, the stomach of Brett Favre might be shaky, but his decision-making process and that rocket of a right arm is solid. He reads the blitz, he reads what's happening with the zone behind it, and gets that ball right to Chimura.
Mark Chimura, 6'5", 250, in his 4th year from Boston College. 4th year seems to be the magic here. Robert Brooks, Chimura, Holmgren, Favre, Edgar Bennett, they have all been together now for 4 years with the Green Bay Packers. Little play action fake, back over the middle, and it's another first down. This time, it is Dorsey Levens. You know, Brett Favre takes a bit of a beating on the play.
Well, Charlie, you talked about the 4th year and how long they've been together. Did you see Brett Favre making the audible? Right before this, he touches his helmet, looks around, makes the audible, and what happens? He gets a little quick pass off there to Levens. That's kind of a no harm, no foul normally to a Brett Favre. And remember, this guy is hurting with a bruised chest. But the audible was called. Levens picks it up, gets right over the ball. You saw what happened right there. That's Steed, the nose guard, 93, dropping in the coverage. You had the blitz zone. You get the blitz from the outside. You got the nose guard dropping. They took advantage of that with that audible.
Greg Lloyd is the injured player. And while we have this moment, yes, you got it?
Check this out, what I was just talking about, Charlie. Watch the nose man right here drop off into coverage. And then you'll see Levens come around like this off the audible. Great job by Favre. See 93 into the drop. That's the blitz zone, and that's the disadvantage, trying to match up a defensive lineman where he really doesn't belong back there. A great pickup by Brett Favre, and when you do that, you can smile about it.
And you can see that he is feeling better.
Well, check out Greg Lloyd coming in here on the tackle, working against Levens. Puts that head right across the bow, exactly as defensive players are taught, and that's also exactly how on occasion you can get what we in the business always refer to as a stinger, that nerve sting down the arm on that one side where your head gets pushed.
Does it feel like when you hit your crazy bone? Is that the feeling of it?
Times 10.
Times 10?
Yeah.
times the whole arm.
A good stinger you feel from the top of your scalp down to your pinky. Ooh.
Here's a program note tonight on NBC. Packers lead it to the scoring by quarters. Green Bay leading 21-13. And the Pack has the ball, 38-yard line of the Steelers. Favre in trouble, and then that's a heads-up play. He saves all kinds of yardage. He takes a beating on it.
And gives up his body to do that, Charlie.
Right, he does.
Do you see the way his arm was trapped up there, up over him as they were making that tackle? You know, I think if you're Mike Holmgren, you steal his helmet right about here. You send your doctors out there, because Kevin Green, head in the chest, pounds him into the turf. Steal his helmet, Mike, and make him sit down for a little while, because watch the back of his head.
Meanwhile, he's just been standing there off to the side with the trainers, talking to him. He was moving around just a bit, but now he's standing. There he is.
You know, Brett Favre right now, 20 of 28, 275 yards passing,
he does
2
not
touchdowns in 3 quarters, and doesn't want to come out.
If you read lips, you know he doesn't want to come out.
Well, with that kind of time he's got, but you see Frank Winter giving some snaps there to Jim McMahon. I've always been curious in a city like Green Bay, Wisconsin, you know, for the hardcore Packer fans. Can they really find it in their hearts to root for this guy?
For Jim McMahon?
For Jim McMahon.
Because he played with the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see the paper this morning?
Exactly because he played for the Chicago Bears.
Yes, but did you see the paper this morning? And they had a spread on the lady who has a very popular dog named Jim McMahon.
You know, that hit there by Kevin Green, very clean, very hard. Remember, it was this August when this play happened. $12,000 hit. Greg Lloyd fined. And not only did Greg Lloyd have, $12,000 lighter in the pocketbook for Mr. Lloyd, and all Brett Favre said was, gee, I thought that was a great hit.
And McMahon makes his first appearance. Edgar Bennett off to the right side. I mean, McMahon is wearing gloves. Can you throw as a quarterback with gloves on?
Well, Jim McMahon can. Cordell Stewart can. We saw that last week in that game on Saturday against New England and Pittsburgh. But, I mean, you remember, here's the quarterback.
He's listening into the radio is what he's doing.
Here's the quarterback. He's playing with the big, huge wristbands. He's got on the gloves. But you also have to remember, here's the guy who likes to play golf barefooted.
That's true.
I can't throw a ball with gloves on. Cordell Stewart can throw a ball with gloves on. I also can't play golf without shoes on. I can't play barefooted. So there's a lot of things Jim can do. I can't.
Third down. And he's going to throw, gloves and all. And it's perfect. He threw it only where Robert Brooks could catch it, kind of low and away. The only bad news is Brooks is going to come about a yard shy of the first down. You're in 4th down territory.
Right here, you go for the field goal. You bring Chris Jackie in, and you go for your 3 points. But right again, Green Bay goes back to their security blanket. The slot receiver, Robert Brooks, comes over the middle of the ball. Get him the ball.
Now, that's a pretty good pass. Cold day, hasn't warmed up all that much. Comes out, gloves and all.
Well, in the old days, you'd say that's why they pay him the big bucks to be a backup quarterback. But nowadays, you see that's his job. That's why they pay him the minimum.
All right, field goal attempt, 47 yards away. And it is good. 3 more points for the Green Bay Packers. 24-13. Green Bay, 13 and a half left. Back in a moment. Gathered in at the 11, out to the 25-yard line. Nice move. Picks up 6 or 7 more yards with that move out to the 33-yard line. Mike Pryor makes a stop for Green Bay. So now the Steelers down 24-13. And they will go to work. Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader here on NBC. Most of you to see the Denver-Oakland game, and some of you see the Miami-St. Louis game. Both of them, of course, with playoff implications. And we have playoff implications here. And we'll remind you right after this play as the Steelers start from their own 33-yard line. Quick drop pass is complete. Thick Ben makes a nice spin move after the reception, and he moves into Green Bay territory. Kansas City leading their ball game over Seattle by a score of 23-3. And so that means with the Steelers, even if they could pull this one out, that they have the same situation, that is next week off. And then they have home field advantage until they would get to a championship game if it's with Kansas City. Now for Green Bay, a win, that means they're home and they host next week.
And that second game here on the doubleheader with Denver and the Raiders is back to being huge again.
Yes. Timing pattern and a leap along the sideline, and it is incomplete. Thigpen, the intended receiver, and they're going back to work on Craig Newsome.
Yeah, you saw that at halftime, that interview Jim Gray had with John Elway, and he's in that back half of the doubleheader with the Broncos playing the Raiders. And here's a guy that he's right up there with Marino and Kelly, that all-time great type quarterbacks you feel for. When you sit and you talk to him, you watch what he's going through, and people are saying, are you going to retire? What do you want? You know what he wants? He wants to play for the minimum and get a Super Bowl ring. He could care less about the money at this point.
You're absolutely right. Here's a sweep to the near side, and again, Green Bay shuts down Brett McAfee and the rushing attack of the Steelers. Mike Pryor moves up and brings him down. Loss of a couple on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 12.
And they've maintained that fire. They've moved Sean Jones into defensive tackle. They got LeBounty out at defensive end on that side. And they've maintained the enthusiasm, the penetration. And with Pryor making that tackle, they've maintained a little more fire. And this crowd is going to go nuts, as Mike Holmgren asked them to.
And Reggie White is a defensive left end. Shotgun. 4 wide receivers. O'Donnell goes deep, has a man, and he hits him along the sideline and out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Now that was 3rd down and 12, and Andre Hastings was roaming all alone along the sideline.
Well, Neil O'Donnell got some great protection there. Got a nice call from Ron Earhart, and here's Neil O'Donnell playing gunslinger. He's going man for man, pass for pass with Brett Favre, stands in under the pressure, gets that ball out there. I mean, that's just a nice job. You can't say enough about O'Donnell. The great read, the nice pattern run right there by Andre Hastings.
13-yard line, 1st down Steelers. Comes back over the middle, pass is complete at the 8-yard line. That is the point of the reception. And we've got a flag back in the front edge of the far corner of the end zone.
That would usually tend to tell you something either about holding or illegal contact down the field, Charlie.
Cordell Stewart with the reception, Pryor with the tackle.
It must have been an inadvertent or a yellow piece of paper or something. That wasn't a flag.
They picked it back up and play goes on.
Stewart, I asked him, is getting banged around make you concerned about your hands and getting hurt? Because you are a quarterback. He says, nah, my brother treated me awful rough growing up. I'm used to getting slammed around.
2nd and 5. This one is caught at the 3-yard line. Again, it is Cordell Stewart. George Teague with the tackle. Stewart becoming the favorite receiver of Neil O'Donnell.
Well, it's 2 plays of bang, bang, back-to-back passes. He's going in over the middle. That's where the safeties and linebackers live, and that's where the contact is. And he basically caught that one with the backside arm, caught that one one-handed and brought it in.
It will be 1st down and goal to go for the Steelers at the 3-yard line of Green Bay. Packers are up by 11, 24-13. Lots of time remaining, exactly 10 minutes to go in the ballgame. In the snow in Green Bay. O'Donnell rolls, sets. He's going to throw this one away. Jonathan Hayes was the closest receiver. Butler had the coverage. He was out of time. He threw it away.
You see Neil O'Donnell there yelling and screaming at his guys. I mean, here's a quarterback that is going to be a free agent after this year. He's also going to be a very rich man, because I think he wants to stay here in Pittsburgh. They're going to have to break loose some cash, and he had Jonathan Hayes all by his lonesome.
He told us last night he wants to stay in Pittsburgh. Likes the city, likes the fans.
He also understands the system, though, Charlie. He's going to end up where his agent can get him the most money.
Right side end zone, Tim Lester. That is Lester's first touchdown of the year.
Tim Lester came into this game with his shoulder a little banged up, but Bill Cowher told him, and he told he also told Fred McAfee, "You're my healthy guys. You got to carry it." Can't ask for a bigger play right there from a guy who doesn't play very much and give you a critical touchdown with 9:49 to go in the fourth quarter. And right now, what do? You bring Stewart in, you bring in your receivers, and you go for 2.
Tim Lester coming into the ball game had 3 rushes for a total of 5 yards. Now they go for 2.
Stewart at quarterback.
Cordell Stewart, he can run it. Now he throws it up for grabs, and it is tipped, and it's going to be incomplete, no conversion. Doug Evans makes the play for Green Bay. Well, so the score remains 24-19.
Charlie, if you're Ron Earhart in Pittsburgh, you get an A+ for intent and a nice try, but really, you bring Dermontti Dawson out, you pull him out, you want to make them think it's an option-type play with Cordell Stewart. But Green Bay plays pass the whole way, and they just smother it.
Number 21, the rookie, Greg Newsome, knocked it away. We'll be back in a moment. Remaining in the season, the regular season for the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonio Freeman on the return for Green Bay, 25-yard line. Blockers in front, moves to the outside. He is to the 50. He is to the 40. A flag is down. He is down the sideline and then finally caught inside the 10-yard line. But we have a marker back at the 38.
Yeah, this is coming all the way back.
Holding against Green Bay. So nullify an exciting return by Antonio Freeman, the rookie from Virginia Tech.
And he gets some excellent blocking here. Obviously, one of the blocks he gets is a bit of a hold and obviously illegal. But that is how the wedge should execute. That's how a return man should bring the ball back. Great execution, but a big break also for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look at Brett Favre's back. I mean, it's not always. Look at the front number you can read perfectly. It's nice and white. Look at that back number. You don't think Kevin Green didn't plant him on his back and drag him a few feet when he hit him back there?
Oh, he did. So the ball is marked 29-yard line, and here comes Favre. 20 of 28, 275. Pair of touchdown on the year. 38 touchdowns on the year. He'll be the starting quarterback in the Pro Bowl.
And what he means to the Green Bay Packers cannot be seen or measured in these stats.
Here's the pitch. Levin's right side out to the 30. Now, we've talked about the second half of the doubleheader. For a preview, let's go to New York.
All right, Charlie, for most of our viewers coming up next, the Broncos and the Oakland.
Here, Green Bay leads 24-19. Just under 9 minutes to go in the ball game. Evans pulls it in, far side, out of bounds, 41-yard line. He's got the first down. Favre continues with a hot hand. Dirty uniform, upset stomach.
Oh, he doesn't care.
You're right.
You know who else doesn't really care? As long as he says he can go, Mike Holmgren on the sideline is going to keep calling the plays for his quarterback. As long as he knows Brett Favre's head is clear, Mike knows his quarterback, knows this offense now after 4 years inside and out.
How do you capitalize Brett Favre? Well, he and a group of teammates were out at a nightclub, and they were being hassled, and one of the offensive linemen was being hassled, and Favre got up and decked the hassler. And the offensive line said, "We're supposed to be protecting you, not you protecting us."
You do something like that, Mike Holmgren better not find out about it.
Well, don't tell him. Everybody that's watching, don't tell Mike Holmgren about that.
Rod Woodson on the sideline. He told Jim Gray today that wouldn't expect it in the first week of the playoff, but he thinks he can get that leg back to 80-85% and possibly help. The Steeler team has left him on the roster all year long. It's what they've been hoping for.
That would really be something if he could come back off of that injury and operation. Ooh, yeah.
It would be big for Lake, too. That would mean Lake could go back to his safety position if they could actually get some playing time at the corner out of Rod Woodson.
5 throws, pass is complete to Brooks. Little stiff arm, and then he is pulled down by Willie Williams.
Brooks for the first down.
And it's a first down.
Willie Williams leading the AFC in interceptions, going against Brooks basically in a one-on-one situation. You're getting blitzes on the outside from Green and Lloyd. Favre, plenty of room. He had that passing angle. You see that angle he went through there with the pass. That's a little mano de mano, just trying to establish territory thing. If you're going to straight arm me with a takedown tackle, I'm just shoving my face or shoving my arm in your face mask.
First down, Steelers 45-yard line. Green Bay up by a score of 24-19, and Bennett is stopped.
High Lowski.
Ray Seals and Levon Kirkland.
Wow. That's your basic worst case scenario from a running back. You know, you don't expect to find two big defensive linemen in the hole right there. You see a nice big hole, and suddenly all you see are helmets.
Vince Lombardi said run to daylight, and that was run to darkness.
Yeah, the door was shut.
Oh, it was. 6.5 minutes left.
Remember the success Brett Favre's had with his tight end Shamur in the second half.
Pass is complete to Ingram. Ingram, as soon as he made the reception, was trying to spin to the outside to lose the defender.
Trying to lose the defender and pick up more yards, because that's basically what that play is designed for. How many times have you seen, the John Taylors and the Jerry Rices in San Francisco when Holmgren was there, catch those kind of passes, make that spin move, and make the big play? Brett Favre now has over 300 yards passing. He's 23 of 31 for 301 yards.
Greg Lloyd back in. Greg Lloyd back in for the Steelers. Rolls away, being chased, throws it away. They're saying no harm, no foul. Continuing action after Brett Favre as he went down and right in front of the Packer bench.
You talked about Greg Lloyd. Watch him here. Gets back in this drop. He's one of the guys responsible for Brett Favre having nowhere to go. And the reason that Buckner and Green got that slap on him. Good zone defense by the Steelers.
Greg Hendrick will try another little pooch kick. You can look for Keith Crawford to try and down it inside of the 10.
Let's call it a short punt, right?
Short punt.
Pooch.
Okay. Short punt.
Sounds like a trim poodle.
This may carry it too far. He's going for the corner. It's going to be caught in the end zone. So it'll be a touchback. Lenny McGill was there. We'll step aside. We'll be back. Steelers from their own 20-yard line, and they're going to pick up the first down right off of the bat, going to the tight end, Mark Bruner. You see the fans here at Lambeau Field. Well, right now at least, although it's a bit tenuous, they expect to be back here next weekend. Bottom line for the Green Bay Packers, they win today. They are the division champion, first time in 23 years, and they will host somebody next weekend.
More importantly, there's the second part, Charlie. They get to play here in Green Bay.
Oh, yes. And you mentioned it earlier, the home field advantage is so important. And this, I mean, when you take a shot at Lambeau Field on a Sunday afternoon, you can title it home field advantage.
Oh, really? All the way across. I mean, but, you look at this place. Like I mentioned earlier, this is where the term home field advantage came from. And look at me. I'm telling you, this is about the 6th game I've done at Lambeau Field in December since I've been doing TV, Charlie. This is easily the warmest. Next week, if the game's here, or in 2 weeks if the game's here, if they should somehow get home field due to San Francisco and Dallas, you're going to see snow, you're going to see wind, you're going to see ugly.
Incomplete, Cordell Stewart.
And right there you saw a very nice play by Evans. That was O'Donnell throwing into that zone defense. Watch the middle of the screen. You see Teague at the top. You'll see Evans and Stewart come in from the other side. Look at that nice zone defense. You got Evans underneath. You got Butler behind him. That's how you bracket in a receiver.
4:45 time remaining in this ball game.
This game here we talked about being 0. Of the last 4 I've done here at Lambeau Field, the warmest is this one. The next warmest is 22 below, so that tells you what home field advantage is.
Third down and short. Is it caught? They will rule it a completion. Yes, 46-yard line.
Cordell Stewart.
Stewart.
Wow.
Boy, what a game he is having.
He really is. I mean, he's really turned into a safety valve kind of receiver.
That is his 5th reception of the ball game.
And it tells you something about what he's learned as a receiver, escaping the line of scrimmage like that. He was matched up man-on-man with Keith Crawford, escaped the line of scrimmage, and presented his body. He knows as a quarterback, the receiver has to present his body to the quarterback to get it. O'Donnell gave it to him perfect.
And this year he has a touchdown receiving, a touchdown rushing, and a touchdown throwing. This time it is Yancey Thigpen on the receiving end. Newsom with the tackle. And the Steelers are cranking up a drive. 3:52 and counting. They trail by 5.
Well, good timing on this play right here from O'Donnell to the Thigpen. Thigpen hasn't turned around when O'Donnell delivers it. You know, Bill Cowher told Jim Gray at halftime, we could care less about Kansas City. We want a good, solid second half out of this football team. And right now, in this 4th quarter, Pittsburgh's playing exactly like the coach wants them to.
41-yard line, Green Bay first down. O'Donnell underneath the coverage. Pass is complete to Thigpen. Clock keeps moving. 3:17 and onward. Leroy Butler with the tackle.
Yeah, that's the real hazards of these last weeks of the season when you start getting that playoff scenario. You know, if you win like Green Bay, you're division champ, and you get home field. If you win, if you're Pittsburgh, you get maybe home field through the deal. You lose focus. And when you know, if you win like Green Bay, you're division champ, and you get home field. If you win, if you're Pittsburgh, you get maybe home field through the deal. You lose focus. And what the challenge is for Ron Earhart on the offensive side, and Dick LeBeau defensively for Pittsburgh, and Bill Cowher, is to keep the focus on the things you can control. The things you can control is on the field. The things you can't are happening in other places.
Steelers with 3 timeouts remaining. Green Bay 2. We've got flags. Oh, I love
and a bear hug.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure
Jerry Markbright immediately came over to protect the quarterback.
Full start, number 65, offense.
On John Jackson.
5-yard penalty, second down.
Is that the first penalty? That's the first penalty in the ball game against the Steelers.
And just a little bit by Jackson there. And watch this right here. This is my favorite part.
Yeah. I've got him.
Shall we dance? Dun, 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 dun. Get any closer than that, you got to start picking out chitter patterns.
Where are you registered? 2nd and 10.
Let's give it up for your quarterback there now.
Pressure on target. Cordell Stewart pulls it in. 25-yard line. Doug Evans was there. 2.5 minutes. Clock is moving, and the Steelers are moving.
This is really something by Stewart. Watch him escape again, the line of scrimmage, working on Evans. See that? Quick shot inside. Evans can't get back in time to get him. I mean, I think this guy's blowing his cover. This guy, he's a very good quarterback, but I tell you what, he might be the best receiver they got.
And he's a great athlete. Going deep, running into double coverage. And Thigpen could not get through. Leroy Butler and Lenny McGill threw up a picket fence. He's going to argue, and he said, I couldn't get past them. They wouldn't let me by.
He's
going to lose it. Yeah.
Hey, he's lobbying for later, though. You know, Coach Cowher knows in the playoffs, and so does Yancey Thigpen, that you get these officials, and what's he complaining about? There's no interference there. That's a little incidental contact. And that's Leroy Butler's story, and he's sticking to it.
2 minutes and 2 seconds time remaining. 2nd down 10.
5-point Packer lead.
Steelers driving for the win. Back to the ground. There's nothing there. Reggie White wraps him up. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Now officially 1:57. The ovation for Reggie. We come back in a moment. Leading in the ballgame 24-19. In reality, have their backs to the wall. The Steelers have a drive underway, and should Green Bay lose, that means that Detroit will win the division championship, and next week Green Bay is on the road and not here in the friendly but cold confines of Lambeau Field.
Well, you know, they've never done it easy here in Green Bay, and here's how it sets up. You know, Pittsburgh obviously winning this game is important for home field, but Kansas City's winning that one. More importantly, Green Bay. Let's concentrate on the Packers. They've got to win this game. Not so much for the Central title. Gee, that's wonderful, 72 and all that since they've done it. The important thing is the home field advantage. You got your backs backed up, 23 yards to a touchdown for Pittsburgh. Somebody's got to make a big play. Where's Reggie White?
From the shotgun. The pass is complete and out of bounds. If they give the mark, the first mark, it's about a foot shy of the first down. Andre Hastings out of bounds by Keith Crawford.
Where's Reggie White? Reggie White's being double teamed. Leon Searcy's got him the first time. McAfee makes sure he dings him the other way. They know who makes the big plays. They're not going to let him hamstring, knee, whatever in all, beat him. Bill Cowher's taking care of Reggie, and Fritz Shermer, the defensive coordinator for Green Bay, has got to figure out a way for his guys to get a big play right here on 4th and real short.
4th down and inches. The chains are on the near side here in the second half. Time remaining 1:51. The Steelers will take a timeout. They burned this one. They now have 2 timeouts remaining. We'll step aside. We'll be back for the 16-yard line. There's Reggie White. He is in at left end. The right end is Sean Jones. Offensively, the spark plug has been Cordell Stewart, and he is in that offensive set.
I tell you, the most important guys, I think, on this play are going to be inside with Justin Strelzik, Dermontti Dawson, Brendan Stye, the rookie out of Nebraska. Right inside. If they needed these tough yards earlier, they let a sneak go with Cordell Stewart. Why not do the same thing right here? You've got the point. You've got a gap to the right. Take it with a double team.
It is there for Neil O'Donnell, the quarterback sneak, and I don't know. I don't think he made it.
He didn't
the pack got lower. They pushed him back. He couldn't get to the outside. You wait for the all-important mark.
Charlie, he went right at that bubble to his right, and the Packers absolutely stuffed it close.
It's almost as if they opened the door and invited him in and then shut it in his face.
This is big for Bill Cowher, folks, but this is a lot bigger measurement for Mike Holmgren and the Green Bay Packers. Remember, that next building block, that next step for Holmgren and the Packers is a division title. Where is it?
Where is it? A lot of help.
A quarter of a link if it's short.
It is a first down for the Steelers by that self-same quarter of a length.
I don't know about that spot. I don't think Neil O'Donnell got back to the line of scrimmage. Watch the ball. Watch him go to the right. Now he's back there. He's way back with Gilbert Brown. He's nowhere near that pile of linemen. Oh, I think Bill Cowher and the Steelers got a very good spot there. And do you think they need a big play now here in Green Bay?
First down, 16-yard line, and it is knocked away. There is the first big play for Green Bay. This one by Pryor and Newsome. Ernie Mills, the intended receiver. It'll be second down.
And, you know, we talked about the ground game of Cowher and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this being the year of the pass, the big transformation, that was the 50th pass for Pittsburgh today. Now, is there anything left in Reggie here with the hamstring and the knee? Think there's not a little strength there?
You bet.
You don't think they don't know where he is? That was Stye, the guard, getting him after he threw Searcy aside.
Inside handoff, McAfee. And his momentum is going to take him close to the 6-yard line, which is close to a first down. Leroy Butler pushes him back. Let's see what spot he gets here.
Dual importance to that clock. You see running down. Minute left. Watch this draw. The draw does two things. Gets almost a first down. Sets up a third and short, but keeps the clock moving.
From the shotgun. Incomplete at the goal line.
Ooh, that was awful close to pass interference, Charlie.
Ernie Mills, the intended receiver, and Newsome again with the coverage, and he was right there. Wasn't even argued, though.
Fourth and short. Newsom was a second skin on the back right there. He is all over Mills. And another timeout for Cowher and the Steelers. They're looking at 4th and about a football again.
Now with 47 seconds, that is the time remaining. A moment ago, you said that the Green Bay Packers, they need a big play. And they got a big play. And then they gave up a play. And then they give up some yardage. Now you're back in the same scenario. Once again, they need the big play to give them home field advantage next week. And, of course, all of the fans in Detroit are saying, no, we don't want them to have a big play. We want it, and we want to be at home.
Well, and a big play in a situation like this, you know, very often doesn't come from your star. Doesn't come from your big Reggie White or maybe even your Sean Jones. Maybe it comes inside from a Gilbert Brown or a John Yurkovich. It comes from the screaming and yelling from these home field.
Another sellout crowd here of enthusiastic fans. It is 4th down and less than a yard.
And Charlie, Pittsburgh is hardly playing like the team with less at stake than the Green Bay Packers. Look for the bubbles. Look for the gaps.
Right side leaning to the 5-yard line. Tim Lester, and he should pick up the first down. It'll be 1st down and goal to go.
There, Bill Cowher calling for the spike play from his quarterback O'Donnell. As soon as they clear this thing off, signal 1st down, they're going to start running the clock. Watch the push on the right side. Searcy and Steyer pushed back, but Lester still manages to get the yards for the 1st down.
Clock moving. There's a spike, and that will stop the clock now with 28 seconds. That is the time remaining in the ball game. It'll be 2nd down and goal to go with the ball at the 5-yard line.
And now, Charlie, you're in a situation. You've got 2nd down. You've got 3 plays to get a touchdown. And your most valuable players are quarterbacks.
And a program note. Stay tuned, because coming up next on most of these stations, most of you.
Neil O'Donnell for one. Cordell Stewart, the unsecret weapon.
3 wide receivers on the right side. Comes back left and high and incomplete to Yancey Thigpen. Picked up by Lenny McGill. 3rd down. Goal to go.
Tell you one thing, there shouldn't be a person sitting in this entire stadium at Lambeau Field.
Maybe not at home either.
With plays like this, O'Donnell just floats that one high. He had Thigpen. See the quick decision process. We can be very easy to criticize these quarterbacks for missing guys, but when they're flashing the head back and trying to make a pass, it can be tough.
Cordell Stewart in the shotgun. And it's not there. He's going to lose a couple of yards.
They're selling pass, but Sean Jones and Leroy Butler ain't buying.
They take their last time out. It'll be 4th down and goal to go. And so the Steelers unwrapping every package under the tree.
Yeah, there's 2 plays when Cordell Stewart's at shotgun that Mike Holmgren and his Packers can almost ignore. One is the quarterback draw, because they're expecting it and their players know it's coming, and the other one is an option. But if you see this young man back taking that snap in this situation and you're a defensive lineman, everybody's in a spy position. Look at Sean Jones get the penetration. Butler come from the backside. Watch Sean Jones, 96. Dermontti Dawson tries to pull around from the 4th down for a title and a week at home.
O'Donnell shotgun, throws, has a man, dropped. It is dropped. Yancey Thigpen had it, and he dropped it.
It was right in Thigpen's hands. That is a gift for Mike Holmgren and the Packers. Santa Claus is wearing number 82 for Green Bay today. You said it, Charlie. Here it is. O'Donnell sees it, gets his read, puts it there. The man that set the record today for the single season catches can't get the last regular season pass of 95 for the Steelers.
So Green Bay has held. They take over on downs. Steelers out of timeouts. Brett Favre needs only to kneel down, and that is it. The celebration begins. Christmas comes early here at Green Bay.
Well, nothing can compare, Charlie. Any Christmas present these Packers find tomorrow morning can't compare to what they were just given by Yancey Thigpen in the end zone with that drop pass. That gives them the title for the first time in 13 years. That gives them a home field game next week. That gives them the best record they've had since Vince Lombardi and the Packers won that title back in 1966.
And then kneeling down, the leader of the Green Bay Packers, Brett Favre, raising the football in triumph and headed for the locker room. His sleigh full of toys, and he wishes everybody across the country a very, very Merry Christmas.
And here in Green Bay, they're playing a song they haven't been able to play in a long time. We Are the Champions by Queen.
Once again, the final score, the Green Bay Packers defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers in an exciting ball game on Christmas Eve, 24-19. Coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader. Stay tuned for all the excitement of the NFL on NBC. For Randy Cross and Jim Gray, I'm Charlie Jones. We want to take this opportunity to wish you and yours the best of all holiday season. So long, everybody.
NBC tonight. This team of losers just